can we please get a fitness update first of all on Flynn Downs and also, I know they're longer term, but the progress of Jack Stevens and Ross Stewart too?
Flynn's fine. So Flynn will be back in the squad, which is brilliant. Yanni B obviously got on the pitch and is fine, ready to go. Ross is doing really nicely. He's coming along really nicely. I don't think that will change from what I told you guys a week or so ago. We're probably looking after this block of games and next international break. But he's coming along really nicely, really integrating into the group nicely, really good energy. And Jack's been a huge loss to us. Not just on the pitch, but like he is the one player with real voice, he's really demanding of people, but in a really nice way. He's been a big loss for us, so the quicker we can get back on the pitch, the better. And also the quicker we can get back on the training pitch, the better. So it's been a bit of a slow process the first few weeks because of the injury he's had, so he's been frustrated. He's still playing a really important part in the background. Just not as big a part as he would like or we would like, but he is coming along nicely. He's made a big progress in the last week or so, but I don't think we should expect him any time in this block of games either, and we'll just assess it as it goes, but he's probably still, quite a way off, I would have thought, but the quicker we can get him back, the better.
Sure. How's the mood in the camp been this week after the 3 defeats? Has it been a challenge for you at all to lift the mood and get them in the mindset ready to go again for a tough game away at Middlesbrough?
No, I think everyone's frustrated and everyone's frustrated and everyone is just desperate to get back on track. I think like if you're here and you know us and you understand how we work, we never get too high and we never get too low after results on outcome. Really focused on the performance and the stuff that was good the other night, and the stuff that hurt us, and the stuff over the last 3 games we have to do better, but also the stuff that we've done well over the last 2 games. So you analyse it, you learn from it, and then we'll practice relentlessly what we need to practice to put in a better performance at Middlesbrough. And that's obviously because of the turnaround in games. Is a lot of that's in the video room, individually, in their units as a team. But I think we're just learning about the group all the time, and they learn about each other, they're learning about us and what we expect and what we want. And I think the frustration that everyone feels is a good energy for us to have. So I think I've been really happy with the couple of days we've had since the game, in terms of the information we've been able to get in, the honesty that everyone's had with each other, and I think, we'll get through this period, and when we do, we'll be better for it for sure.
What's your take on Middlesbrough as well? Because they've struggled this season after having such an impressive campaign last season, 75 points, making the playoffs. They're still looking for their first league win. What's your take on their side and their struggles this season?
So they've lost some really key players from last season, some big players, but they've been really unfortunate. They should have more points. I'm sure Michael's sitting there wondering how they haven't got a win yet, or more points on the board, because some of the performances have been really good. I really like the way they play. Really admired what he did last season. I thought it was fantastic. He took them from where they were to how they ended up. Another really good. The last 3-4 games have been really interesting. Really interesting. Good, different types of games, but teams who want to try and dominate the ball as well, which has been interesting. And this is another one. So I'm sure they're feeling frustrated and a bit wounded, the same way we are. So it makes for an interesting game. But I think it's a really good test for us and a good game for us. And we have to try and make sure that they come out of it without a win still. And I'm sure they're feeling their own angst about that. But I admire the work he's done there. I like a lot of what they do. And it's a championship. There's no easy game.
100%. There's been some noise, I'd say, this week about from pundits and fans about playing Will Smallbone and Flynn Downs in midfield together. Some people may be feeling they're a little bit too similar in their roles. Mm-hmm. You obviously like them playing together because you put them in the team. What do you see as the upside to them both being in the team together?
I'm not sure they've been in the same team too much, have they? They didn't play together on Tuesday night.
Past few weeks, yeah.
One game, innit? Leicester? Yeah, I think they're very different.
Okay.
I think when you're losing, when you've lost a couple of games, people can see it how they want to see it and assess it how they want to assess it. So I would never put it down to a certain partnership or to one player, or ultimately it's my fault. we've lost 3 games. I haven't been able to give the players enough courage to overcome the disappointment. So we've been fine in games until we have a moment of disappointment. Sunderland, obviously, the disappointment happened so early we couldn't overcome it. Leicester, again, really early, and we actually deal quite well with that and get back in the game. Then the third goal, another bit of disappointment, don't deal well enough with that. Ipswich, we have 3 or 4 real, not big chances, but good openings in the first 20 minutes. Don't make enough of them. And then the first bit of disappointment, the energy totally changes in the ground with the players. And it's my job to find a way to deal with that, because like I went to watch Brighton with my son last night, and they had a moment of disappointment. They were 1-0 down. The game plan stays exactly the same. The energy stays exactly the same. They make a few mistakes, it stays exactly the same. We're not quite at that place yet because of the scar tissue here, whatever has happened here at the club previously. And I'm not passing excuse, because we need to work and find a way through that. But there has been a lack of cohesion at this club. There has been a lack of togetherness. There's been a lack of connection with the supporters. There's been a lack of connection here at the training ground for whatever reason. And our job is to try and bring that back. But that doesn't happen overnight. And we're also trying to do it, we're implementing a completely different style, a completely different way of behaving. So I hope now we will find some connection through being really honest with you, really honest with the players, really honest with the staff, really honest with the supporters, and find a way to build some energy and momentum together. Because we played against Ipswich, a team that has loads of energy, loads of momentum, that is carrying them through into a really good place at the moment. And we don't quite have that. And we will work very hard to find that, and we will find that. We'll find a rhythm at some point where people see the team functioning really well, as they have done in moments in games, especially the first 4 games. And when we find that rhythm, and people then start to see it and to trust the work that we're doing, and the players to trust it because they feel it, then it will be a totally different place. And hopefully we'll build some momentum, build some spirit, and build some energy that is different to what's happened here, because there is definitely a hangover, and probably a bigger one than I thought initially. But it's a brilliant challenge. I'm more excited about it than ever. I think we all are, to be honest. So, yeah, it's up to us to make sure we come out of this very, very quickly and very well.
Sure. And you come in with, your style of play, the way you want to play football, and with the 3 defeats, has there ever been any kind of pressure, any kind of thought to maybe switch up to be maybe a little bit more pragmatic to get results, or are you 100% this is how we play?
No, well, you could argue we were more pragmatic against Ipswich because we were quite solid. Limited them to very little, didn't create enough of our own, but we had the biggest chance of the game with Shea. But we've conceded the first goal in the 3 games, which then changes the game completely. So we haven't played quickly enough. We haven't played with enough intensity with the ball, really. And it's because of the mentality changes when we have a bit of disappointment. The energy in the stadium, the energy with the players. And we have to find a way to work through that. When we score first, we win. And we haven't done that in the last 3 games, so it's been made really tough for us. So, yeah, we have to stop that. But we also have to find a way to, if we do come across that and we concede first, to stick to the game plan. And there's reasons why we haven't quite had the same energy or zip with the ball. And anxiety means people then start running out their position. Position is so important for us, the way we're going to play, to move the ball quickly, to dominate the ball, to move opponents. And out of anxiety, the players at the moment sometimes feel they need to run around and do more. And sometimes actually less is a little bit more, and that's our job to make them understand that even better. And I think we have the players are getting an understanding of that now, about what's required. So I'm really excited about what's to come. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a brilliant challenge, and I think you find out so much about people and yourself in these moments. And we have had these moments at every club we've been at so far, and we've always come through them and been better for them. And it just happens this one is happening fairly early on, and it's such a long season. We're 7 games in, so like pragmatism and all that stuff is we're going to tweak and we're going to adapt and we're going to learn and we're going to try new things. But we've been brought here for a reason, and it's to give the club something to really buy into, and like I said, to energise everyone and bring people together. And I want the supporters to enjoy watching their team, which they probably haven't the last 3 games. I understand that, but to also understand what it takes for the players to play this way, the mentality, the courage to play this way, and it's up to us to give them more moments than we have done in the last 3 games to build that togetherness and build connection, and we will, because it's what we've done at the last 2 clubs we've been at, and as I said, is why we're here now. So yeah, we will flex, we will adapt, but without losing what the club really wants to be, because the club have embarked on a journey now. Like, it's a clean slate. So many new people. Me, Phil, Jason. Jason's been incredible in terms of the support he's given us over the last week, and we sit and talk football for hours about the team, what it needs, what have the problems been, and just it's just great to have that support. And the owners have been great. And at some point, you make a decision to go this way, then you have to be brave and see it through and stick with it. Otherwise, it's pointless. You just jump from one thing to the other and hope that you land on something. The club has decided that this is the way we're going to go. They appoint a young manager to try and develop the players and to develop a young coaching staff, a young group to build connection with those players, to develop them to play in a certain way. So I think they understood it. There's going to be some sticky moments, and when you see them through and you work really, really hard, because we are all in on this and all in on being here. Otherwise, we just wouldn't have left a club we were so happy at. And we're all in on it, and I think everyone is, and we'll ride through this moment. And when we do, it'll be brilliant.
Just one more from me, Russell. Sam Edozie looks like someone that's really benefited from your trust in him. Given him lots of minutes so far this season. What's your relationship like with Sam, and what do you make of his game so far and where he can get to? Sam
has a huge amount of potential. So another player that's been really, really affected by the last 6 months in particular, of not being in squads, and just trying to build him back up to a place where he can trust us and know he can trust us, and that we just want him to be the best version of himself that he can be. And he's slowly opening up like the rest of the players are. You come in and there's a little bit of a guard up because they're waiting to see how much they can trust you and how consistent you're going to be with your behaviour. I think he enjoys what we're asking him to do because it's fairly similar to his upbringing at City. Albeit there's always going to be differences and stuff. So he feels like he understands that. There's a lot we can improve on with Sam, as there is with every player, especially young players. And with him, it's about understanding the level, what it takes physically, the consistency required. But he's an outstanding young player with a huge amount of potential. And when we keep peeling back the layers in terms of his personality, and he can open up and really, really be himself, then he's going to be a really, really special player and a really exciting player for this football club for quite a long time, hopefully. So, and there's so many of them like that in the dressing room. We have a fairly young group, which is, again, probably another reason why we're here, because we're used to that, and we've really enjoyed and had a good record with developing young people as people and players, hopefully. And we're excited about so many of them players in the dressing room. Sam's just one of a number of them. It's our job to bring the best, bring the real them out on the pitch and off it, and see where it takes us. And that's why it's so exciting for us. And that will ultimately reflect in good performance, good results, and that's why we feel excited about it all.
Great stuff. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to 10:30, George.
Morning, Russell. You talked about it just there about Jack Stevens being out. He's been a bit of a miss as well. And I know you've spoken about some of the other leaders in the squad, but who's kind of stepped up in his absence to kind of lead the squad?
Well, I think we don't have. We have quite a group of as young, quite a lot of introverts in there. So I think it's up to us to try and bring that out of them and create some leaders in the group. I think we know Flynn can definitely do that, but he was ill. He's coming in, he's trying to find his feet, and then he's had a little injury as well. Jan Bednarek has the potential to be a real leader, and it's up to us to bring that out of him as well and understand. Mason has good voice, so we're we have a few players that can really step up. Armour, Shea, they lead in their own way. But we definitely have to try and create that and bring that out in the group a little bit more in terms of demands of each other. And but again, that's created in the environment. Once they understand, they can trust each other. And when you're demanding something of someone, it's not personal, it's professional, and there's a difference. So I think it's up to us to try and create that, because if it doesn't come natural to people, and Jack is probably the only one we have in the building where it comes really naturally to him, that he can. It's such a difficult balance, be really demanding and really intense, but a brilliant person off the pitch that the lads can really trust. Is why he became the captain. It was like the obvious choice when Prowsey left, the really easy choice. So yeah, we have missed that, and I think there's players in there capable of it, and it's up to us to make sure that they trust us enough that they can do that, and we'll back them and support them with that. And there's just so much we want to do, and just so much of it just takes time. And the biggest one is like the players trying to help them unravel the scar tissue they built up over a period of time. And it's not like, because even the new ones coming in, we have a lot of players that were here last year, but we also have quite a fair few new players that were playing the other night. But Shea's playing his 5th professional game. Taylor's playing his 2nd game for us. He's come in and not played any games in pre-season. Ryan Manning is probably the one who is most used to the league, and he should come in and it will be natural to him. So it's an interesting mix. So we'll find the right mix and the right chemistry between the group, and hopefully that will then enable a few people to come out and really start becoming leaders. Yeah.
You touched on Adam Armstrong there. Apologies if you've been asked this before, but he's won the captain's armband in the last couple of games. What was kind of the thinking behind making him captain?
Trust. We trust him. The players trust him. He can play a number of positions. He has good football intelligence. He's just a really good person. A really, really good person. And I spoke to a few of the guys about it, a few of the players. We had a chat amongst the staff, and he was the number one choice for us. But then I asked a couple of the senior players and what they felt and what they thought, and they went straight to Adam as well. So I think that's an easy one to explain, really.
You touched on it there with Dan as well about disappointment. When sort of the mistakes happen, how hard is it for you, kind of when you're on the side of the pitch, to sort of stop the players from maybe getting their heads down or maybe shying away a little bit? Yeah,
I think it's been there as a player, so I understand it. It's so difficult sometimes, and I think for us it's just about showing them the moments where they have to just trust the detail and trust each other more than ever in them moments. And they'll be better for them. They will be, there's no doubt they'll be better for them. So when you look at when you look back on those moments and you get through them, then every game you feel a bit more confident. You understand actually the worst thing that can happen is you get booed, and the tension builds a little bit, and at some point they'll free up and the tension will leave their body, and you can see it. Like we can see the goal the other night, visibly see in the body language of some of the players, they tense up a little bit, and there's a little bit of fear there. And 15 minutes was the worst period of the game for us. After that, either side of that wasn't too bad a performance in general. There's loads of things we could do better, but the performance is so affected by the tension and a bit of fear, and it's up to us as a coaching staff to make sure we get through that. And again, I've had that at both clubs I've been at, because players, I genuinely believe players want to play this way, when you haven't been asked to. So when we were winning games and people were playing with freedom within the structure, and we have to get back to that, even when times are tough. And we've got through that period that both clubs have been at, and regardless of the situation, they were able to bounce back really quickly and carry on and be so brave. And we'll get that here for sure. It's taken a bit longer than we would have hoped.
Can I ask you about Shea Adams, because there's a lot of speculation about him during the transfer window. Now that's all quieting down with the window closing. Has there been any sort of further conversations about a new contract with him?
No, I think he got offered a new contract. It's obviously before the window closed, and it's his prerogative really. I'm quite relaxed about it. As long as whilst he's here, he's given absolutely everything he's got, which he does on the training pitch. He's a fantastic character, like I said to you before. And and gives us everything he's got on the pitch, then it's like not a problem. So Jason and his representative will continue talking, I'm sure, and we'll see what comes of it. But he was obviously in demand in the window. He didn't go, but he's been brilliant about it. I'm pretty sure he just wants to hit the back of the net again, and he was so frustrated with the chance the other night. But it's in his interest to do as well as he possibly can for us, and obviously in our interest as well that we kept him, and he'll be a big player for us.
Final one from me. Sam Hamill played quite a lot in the first couple of games of the season. I know you've been sort of keen to kind of not put loads of pressure on him and loads of hype on his name. Is he maybe someone who could maybe play with the under-21s because he's not had that game time?
He's playing from tonight. Yeah. So I think really we have a group of really talented young players with huge potential. To put him in the team at the moment would be unfair on him because we need to get through this period. And we have a lot of options now, Camaldine back and Ryan Fraser in the building. So, but it's really important for that group that they train with us all the time to understand the demands of what it's going to take, but also that they don't fall between the cracks. So Carl Martin does a brilliant job of liaising with the sports science team and the medical team about, you know, what his physical loads are and what's he missing out on, and so we try and give him extra stuff every single day, as we do with Jayden and Cammy and Tyler, the guys who are training with us regularly, and then assess when they need a game, when they don't. So there's going to be times where he might feel he's missing out on the first team squad, but actually it's better for him to play 60, 70, 90 minutes, whatever it's going to be, to maintain his development, because it's a really important part of why we're here. And when I spoke to Jason about taking the job, he's desperate to get players through from the academy. He's done that role at Man City for so long and had a brilliant record without of either developing talent for the first team or selling players on. So yeah, we have to just make sure we don't let anyone fall through the cracks and they're getting exactly what they need from us. And been really impressed with them, and we work really closely with Andy and the academy and the guys there. So yeah, there'll be times they need to play for them, and there'll be times where they need to be in the squad because that's more important.